We're talking to TJ Dillashaw right now, who's fighting John Lineker on December 30th at UFC 207. TJ, are you there?
Yes, I am. How's it going?
Good to talk to you. You know, Henry just mentioned you, and he claimed that you thought that he beat your friend Joseph Benavidez. Is that true?
No, not whatsoever. I was actually sitting front row.
Yeah.
It was a very impressive fight. I think it is by far the best Henry Cejudo has ever looked in his fight. It was more aggressive, looked really good in the fight. Very, very, very close. You know, the only round that I scored for Henry Cejudo was round 1. Yeah. But he got that point taken away, which, you know, I still think Joseph would have won 2 rounds to 1 even if he wouldn't have. So that's a tough fight, man. But it was so close. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'm a little biased sitting there because I'm hoping Joseph wins. But even going back and watching it on TV, you can see a little clearly. I mean, the emotions are high. I mean, they're going to think he won. We're going to think Joseph won. Emotions were high. I was sitting in the middle of all of his family and friends during the fight, you know. But especially when you go back and watch it on TV, Joseph landed in the second and third round. He kind of was less aggressive, let him come in and kind of landed the cleaner shots and pulled and got out, landed a big head kick, you know, was able to get right back to his feet on any of those takedowns and make him pay for it. So, I mean, for all done and said, I mean, Henry fought awesome, but Joseph just hardly squeaked that one out, which is really impressive for Henry because I thought Joseph was a lot more of a well-rounded fighter than him. And, you know, he kept it close. I think Joseph fought more emotional this fight than he's ever fought before, which kept it a little bit closer than he's used to.
Interesting. Well, great fight. Yeah. Wish it was 25 minutes, to be honest. But
me too. Absolutely.
Okay, so there's so much to talk to you about. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I don't start with the MMA AAA. By the way, we had Bjorn Rebney on earlier. I wish that we'd come up with a better name than that because it's just so damn hard to say. But anyway, that's the least of the problems.
I mean, the best way to do it is the MMA Fighters Association, you know, Athletes Association. I'm just saying the whole thing because it rolls off the tongue better than even just MMA AA.
Yeah, you know, you're 100% right. So what I was thinking about when I saw you at the fight, they showed you in the front row was, I wonder what kind of reception TJ Dillashaw got. I mean, I give you guys so much credit for just the courage that you had for speaking up. You're fighters and you have a ton of courage just because of what you do, but just being on a conference call is probably more courageous than anything you do in a cage, given the ramifications that you may face. What was it like being at a UFC event just days after being a part of that conference call? Any cold shoulders? Was it weird? Was it uncomfortable at all?
No, you know, I mean, obviously I think some of the main guys would have been, but I didn't really have any face-to-face talks with them. You know, I mean, I was a little bit after doing that conference call, going to the UFC. I mean, you know, I mean, it's a big step, you know, but it's got to be done. Yeah, sure. Was I scared of how I was going to be reacted to? For sure. I mean, that's my boss. That's the hand that feeds me, you know. But ultimately, I'm just standing up for what I believe in and what's right and what I've done my research on and just throughout other professional sports and how we're kind of treated and how they were treated in the past before they kind of stood up for themselves as well, you know. And so, yeah, it was nerve-wracking going to a fight. I mean, I was on that conference call for the association on Wednesday, and then I go out to Vegas on Wednesday night, and I'm out there on Thursday helping Joseph get ready for his fight and, you know, around all the UFC employees. But, yeah, I didn't get with any of them that I was around, or I didn't get any cold shoulders. They all treated me with much respect. And, yeah, I think it'd be more of the heads of the UFC that are going to have more of a problem with it because, I mean, I'm sure the employees aren't mad at the association starting.
Did any of those head officials talk to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
You didn't see any?
Not.
Okay. They're like not at all, or they didn't talk to you about this?
No, I didn't talk to him at all.
Okay.
I didn't even see him. You know, I mean, I didn't go out of my way to try to say hi either. You know, I mean, I could have. I mean, I saw them both there, but you know, I mean, obviously, I'm a little nervous about how it was all going to go down, so I didn't really go out of my way to talk to anybody either. You know.
When did you make the decision that this is something that you want to be a part of? How long ago? You know,
I've been saying for a long time that we've needed something like this. You know, I mean, I was saying that we needed a union, but a union is not the right word for it. The association is the right word because we are independent contractors and we need to stand up as an association. And if we stand up as a union, then it would just get thrown away in court because we're not employees, you know, even though we're treated like it. Me and a lot of fighters have always said that we need something. You know, we know that the pay scale is a little unfair with what they're bringing in compared to what we're making. So I mean, I've wanted to, but then finally we've gotten a team together, and even all the way down to the day before, it's kind of like, oh man, should I go down and do this? Should I be the one that steps up? Should I be that face? But ultimately, someone's got to do it, and we have a good group of guys to do it. And I mean, it's just got to happen. And I feel like I'm happy to be in that place, to be someone that's going to be looked at in history for hopefully standing up and making a change. And I've gotten a great reception from a lot of other fighters now. When I went to the tough finale, when I was there for that whole week and seeing guys warming up, they were super curious about it. They would ask me about it. They want more information about it, and they're on board. The more I talk to them, the more, and some big name fighters too, and guys that have obviously wanted this as well, but we're in everyone else's situation, just too scared to step up and do it.
Was the final straw for you when you didn't get the title shot?
Yeah. I mean, I would lie if I said it wasn't. I mean, I even reached out to Dana and I told him, like, look, I'll do whatever I need to do, because we went and renegotiated my contract, and I told him, I was like, look, more importantly than even my contract and renegotiating it, because they didn't have to, I still have more fights on my contract. I was like, I want the title fight. That's more important to me than anything in the world. I mean, me being known as the champ and being the best in the world is the most important thing to me, because that's why I got into this. And I told him I'll do whatever I need to do. He's like, look, I know the WME and CAA are enemies. If it's going to help you for me to leave them, look, I'll be Team TJ Dillashaw. I'll be Team UFC, whatever you want me to do. After I had my meeting with him, he told me to give him a call, and this is when I'm leaving him messages and telling him this, but I never got a response back. You know what I mean? So I went and met with him, told him that I wanted the title fight, renegotiated my contract. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but renegotiated my contract with him. Then he told me, like, hey, if you're happy with the contract, give me a call tomorrow. Well, I called him the next day to talk about it, and I also told him, like, look, I have some things I want to do. I want to bet my purse that I can beat Cruz. I wanted to kind of throw it through him first and try to do whatever I possibly could to get this title fight, create as much drama as I possibly could, because that's obviously what does it these days, is creating drama. And I don't feel like there's any other way to create more drama than to put my money on the line. This isn't about the money anymore. This is about the respect of MMA and being the best in the world. And so that was my mind in it. And I told him through text message and through voicemail, like, look, man, I'll do whatever I need to do to get this title shot. I'll leave my management if I have to. I'll do whatever, even though I don't want to, like, I'll do whatever I need to do for myself to get this title fight. And he just wouldn't call me back. He wouldn't get a hold of me. He wouldn't tell me if I was getting the title shot. He wouldn't say anything, And then eventually I find out from social media that Garbrandt was getting it,
Wow.
And I feel like he was just kind of, even when I went there and he told me that he was going to push for me to get this title fight, and he was going to do whatever he possibly could to get that written up, that from the way I heard about it, that Cruz and Garbrandt have already even signed to fight each other, So I kind of felt a little disrespected and lied to my face about it, and it would have gone over easier if you would have just told me from the beginning that I wasn't getting the fight, instead of making me look like a jerk and trying to create a bunch of drama to get this fight, I mean, I was willing to do whatever it took to get it, and just to kind of be pushed aside like that and to find out on social media, I feel like it's just really disrespectful. I'd like a phone call. I mean, I'm a previous UFC champion of yours. I've taken fights on 1 day notice. I fought Joe Soto on a less than 24 hours notice for you guys to save the show. You know what I mean? They called me begging me to take this fight, where I could be a John Jones, I could be whoever, and turn down the fights down like many champions have when I step up on a day's notice for you guys, and don't receive $1 bonus for that fight.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like, look, they're telling me, like, we have to cancel the show if you don't take the fight. This to put the UFC under. We've had a lot of cancellations. John Jones canceled a fight on us. We need you to take it. They give me the whole hype up spiel of take this fight. And look, man, I love the UFC. They're the best organization in the world. They have the best fighters in the world. So I wanted to stand up and be a team player. I wanted to be Team UFC. But the more Team UFC you are, the worse you get treated. It seems like everyone that's going to act professional and do their job gets pushed aside, gets taken advantage of. You got to create drama. You got to be a loudmouth. You got to talk shit about the UFC. You got to take drugs and fail drug tests to get what you want, I guess. They want bullcrap drama to push your name up and act like a fool. You can't act like a professional and be respectful to get what you want these days around them, I guess. So I don't know, man. I just felt like ultimately I've been, disrespected a lot, and it definitely helps with my decision of standing up for the fighters and standing up for myself. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the UFC is a great organization. I would never want to fight for anybody else, but I do think there is, I mean, for how much money they're bringing in from the numbers I've heard and the percentage we're making, it's just not right, you know?
Do you think that you were sort of encouraged to sign this new deal because the possibility of getting a title shot was looming, but it was never a possibility? Like, do you think that you were sort of tricked into signing it?
For sure.
How many fights?
After it all was done and said, yeah, I felt that way.
How many fights?
I felt it was like a consolation prize. I signed an 8-fight deal.
Oh, damn. And do you regret that?
Yeah. No, man. I mean, I don't. I still think, I mean, sure, should I fight my contract? I mean, me and my wife were talking back and forth about it. Should I fight my contract out and be a free agent and try to get paid as much as I possibly can? You know, I mean, that's definitely a thought in the back of your head, especially when you're trying to support a family. I don't have health insurance. I don't have a pension. I don't have a retirement plan. You know, I have nothing to show for this other than my pride in what I've accomplished when I'm done fighting this sport. You know, so I got to make as much money as I possibly can to take care of me and my family. But I didn't get into the sport to be driven by money. You know, I got into the sport because I love to compete and I wanted to be the best in the world. And I do think the UFC and having that UFC belt is the best fighter in the world. You know, and I feel like going to Bellator and fighting for Bellator or whoever it's going to be, World Series or whatever it's going to be, is a step down right now until more fighters start making that change. You know, it's my goal is to be the best fighter. I believe I am the best 135 pounder in the world. And, you know, by me losing a very close split decision to Dominic Cruz, it's just kind of crazy how I feel like I've gotten forgotten. You know, I've been pushed to the back burner because I'm too professional and too respectful. I don't create enough drama. You know, I need neck tattoos and talking shit and being a Conor McGregor or whatever. It's just crazy, man. I mean, I got a lot to say, I guess, you know? So.
Yeah. Have you heard from them since they didn't give you the title shot? Anyone reach out to you? Hey, sorry, it didn't work out. You'll get the next one. This is for the number one. To anything at all? No. The only thing was just to take the Lineker fight. Wow. You know, and I mean, obviously I'm not going to just sit on the back burner and do nothing. I mean, I got to get paid. You know, I don't make, I mean, for the fans out in public, I don't make enough money to not fight. You know, I don't even winning the belt, I don't make enough money to sit around and wait for a title shot, you know, and the way I look at it is I'm the one that's fighting number one contenders. Other than Cruz is ranked 1, I'm ranked 2, Lineker's ranked 3. You know, when Cruz was ranked 1, I was ranked 2, since I was ranked 3. So really, I mean, I'm fighting the number one contenders. You know, Cruz is kind of hand selecting his fights, and the UFC's letting him do it. You know, and I don't understand why. I know it's some sort of politics. I don't know if it's because Dominic Cruz is in the media and he's in part of Fox and he's part of. I don't know if they're trying to pump him up for what reason. I don't know what he does for them. You know, other than act like an idiot, but. It's something. You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. He's going to fight number 8 ranked guys, number 6 ranked guys, and I'm fighting number 1 ranked guys, and I can't get a title shot back again. Especially when I went and met with the UFC, and they're telling me that they thought I won my fight against Cruz. You know, I mean, I feel like that should be enough on its own. So. Do you think that he's the one who kind of helped block you out? Do you think he played a part in you not getting the title fight?
Oh, for sure. I highly believe that. I believe that Cruz is going to try to do whatever he can to not fight me until he retires.
Oh, wow.
Try to, you know, him trying to talk about how he wants these super fights and big money fights. It's like, I don't even think you're the best in the world, and you're trying to dodge me as long as you possibly can because you know that I'm going to beat you. You know, I fought him with emotion the first time and still beat him. You know, and he knows that, and his coaches know that, and my coaches know that, and I know that. And so he's going to do whatever he can to not fight me again.
I saw in an interview, I think he did it with MMA Junkie, where he was talking about, you know, why you didn't get the title fight and saying that like you don't put yourself out there and only now you're doing that, and he sort of helped you. Did you read that stuff? And what's your reaction to it?
I was like tagged in something on social media about it, so I read through it a little bit, and then my parents wanted to tell me all about it.
Oh.
It's funny. My parents are the ones that tell me like what goes down. They look into all this stuff more than I do. I try to live my life outside of fighting. You know what I mean? Like fighting is my life. So when I get home, I try to stay away from it. But yeah, I saw some stuff about it. I mean, it was kind of crazy. I feel like he talked for 10 minutes but didn't get anything accomplished. He did like a full circle and didn't make any sense. I feel like he was running for president this term. He kind of was a perfect politician and said a lot without saying anything. Nothing he said made sense and just kind of wanted to blabber. You know, it's almost like someone's in his ear trying to tell him what to say because he's not smart enough to talk about it himself. So he's just trying to create as much excuses as he can to not fight me. And you're going to continue to see him, and it's just ridiculous. You know, I mean, you could see this all the way up from Garbrandt's last fight that they were built, that he was choosing this fight and picking it. I mean, Fox did it. You know, they gave him that fight against Mizugaki, and then as soon as the fight's over, they're going back and forth between him and Cruz and letting them talk shit to each other. And instead of being a professional sport, it's more about this drama and this days of our lives, like TV show, rather than who's the best in the world.
You've been in there with both of them. You've trained with Cody. You fought Dominic. Who do you think wins that fight?
I think Dominic wins that fight with how smart he'll fight him. You know,
Okay.
I think Cody's one-dimensional. He's a great fighter. He's fast. He's powerful. You know, he is good. Don't get me wrong. Anyone's got a chance. I mean, anybody can obviously win. But if I had to put money on it, I would bet on Cruz. He's going to fight him too smart. He's a veteran. He knows what to do. I think the way Cruz fights is Cody's biggest weakness, and he's just not. I just don't think he's ready yet. You know, I mean, the kid's done what he. I mean, I don't blame Cody for getting this title fight at all. I mean, that should be anyone in the UFC. This should be your goal, to get the UFC belt and to fight for that title. I mean, he should push for that as much as he wants.
Right.
I blame Dominic Cruz, and I blame the UFC for letting this happen. You know, it's kind of, I feel, making a mockery of the sport by letting a number 8 ranked fighter fight for the. Why does he jump 7 guys to be able to fight for the belt? It just doesn't make sense at all.
And how do you prepare mentally for this? I mean, you're getting into a fight with a very talented fighter, but you're fighting the same night as this title fight. Is it hard to get up for it? Is it annoying that you're fighting the same night? Because, you know, you're going to be in Vegas and the poster is going to be there and it's going to be Cruz and Garbrandt. It's going to be in your face. How are you going to deal with that?
No, man, I actually been done very, 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 very well with it. I mean, Lineker's a very tough fighter. You know, I mean, he's definitely not on my level. He's got huge holes in his game. And I'm going to prove that he doesn't belong in the top 5 with us. But I have to stay focused. If I'm not focused, that's when I'm going to get in trouble. And I've learned that through competing all of my wrestling career and through these fights. You know, you have to be focused on the task in hand. Yeah, sure. Was I disappointed I didn't get the title shot? Absolutely, 100%. But I'm fighting a tough guy. I mean, every guy I fight now is a top contender. I'm fighting number 1 contenders. You know, I have to go out there and perform. I want that title shot. I have to win. So my task in hand is to beat John Lineker and to focus on him solely. And this is a good fight for me, man. I mean, you know, there's a lot of hype on him. You know, he's got a big name now, and just for me to prove, to go out there and to shut him down and to prove how much better I am is a big statement. So I got to focus on that completely, and I have been. You know, I'm excited for this fight, and it's a great card to be a part of, and to go out there and make a statement before they fight is great. You know, it's a perfect way to continue to build my name. I mean, the UFC can do whatever they want to try to not give me that title shot, but if I'm going out there beating number 1 contenders, and especially doing it on the night that Cruz and Cody are fighting, then, you know, it'll speak huge in the public eye. You know, I mean, there's no way around it.
Back to the Athletes Association. Right now, there's 5 of you who have, stuck your neck out. You're on that island by yourself. Since Wednesday, do you know if any more have joined? Are there other official members of the association as far as fighters?
Yeah, so there already are. I mean, they're all, obviously verbal agreements, and that's kind of how this whole thing is going down. But week by week, they're going to continue to announce some big names, and they're going to have some big names announcement here soon. Kind of to keep the ball rolling so people don't forget about it. You know what I mean? Because if just us 5, or say it was 50 of us that came out and talked about it, sure, that makes a big statement that all 50 of us came out at once. But it's going to make a bigger statement, I think, to do it week by week. You know what I mean? To be in the public eye every week, that this fighter's like, look, I don't think this is right. Look, I don't think this is right. You know, and really, this is more than. I mean, this is big. I mean, not only about that fighters as a whole. Whatever, how many fighters, like close to 600 or maybe over 600. I don't really know the exact number on that. But as a whole, we make 8% of what the UFC brings in. You know, 8%. Every other sport, NFL, MLB, I mean, they're making anywhere from 50 to 65% of what the sport brings in. You know, I mean, NFL makes like over $13 billion a year. Their athletes are making over $6 billion a year. You know, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, it's kind of saying that, well, we don't work as hard as an NFL player, or I don't work as hard as an NBA player or MLB. I think us fighters work harder than any other sport, but I'm not going to but and to be paid less is kind of a slap in the face, and for how much we're putting on the line, we're putting our blood, sweat, and tears and our livelihood. I mean, I've seen past fighters that don't seem all there anymore, can hardly walk around or look like the Tin Man, that have been through the ringer. And so I think it's just time to start thinking about your future. Everyone wants to think about the now and being the best in the world and push through these injuries that we always go through in camp. But, not only do we need to get paid more to help provide for our families and putting our life on the line, but also it'd be nice to have health insurance. I mean, right now I have to pay for health insurance for myself, which is very expensive being a professional fighter. You go to an insurance company and that, ask you your occupation and you're a professional fighter. It's very expensive to get insured, as well as my wife and, just everything at all. I mean, I have to worry about my own retirement plan. I have to put away for my own 401k and, and all the getting 1099 because we're independent contractors, just everything. There's a lot of things that would help out for us athletes that need to change. We're controlled more than any other professional sport. We're told what to wear, when to wear it, what we're allowed to say in our interviews. I have to wear Reebok. We have to tell the UFC, or USADA, where we're at 365 days a year, but we don't have health insurance. We're treated worse than an employee, but it's just crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, you've laid it out pretty damn well, and kudos to you for that. I don't know about you, but a lot of fighters and managers have reached out to me asking me what I think about it. And the main thing that they keep saying is I am hesitant to join anything that Bjorn Rebney is a part of. What do you say to those people?
I understand that. I mean, I definitely, that's kind of what I've gotten the grasp of as well. Every time I talk to a fighter, I've talked to a lot of them here at, I'm not going to give out any names because I don't know what's going to happen, but very interested, and they're on board from obviously talking to me. But their first concern was, what about Bjorn? I mean, I feel like that's just not a good look. It's bad, but we're kind of, Bjorn's been through. He's been a promoter. He's been, he knows the other side of it. He knows a lot more of a promoter's job and more about the UFC than any of us possibly could. We're on the athlete side of it. We're not on the side of what goes behind it and what they need to tell the fighters. And we're kind of letting Bjorn be our devil's advocate. We're letting him be the bad guy and he's kind of guiding us. But what people need to understand is he's not part of the board. He's just a supervisor. If we didn't feel like it was good for us, we wouldn't have him, The board members are us 5 fighters. We're the ones that make the decisions. We're the ones that are voting on everything. We're the ones that are going to decide what's right for us and what's not. And Bjorn's just kind of going to guide us through it. So really, he's just a supervisor of the association, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Are you worried?
We need someone to think outside the box. I mean,
Sure.
shoot, I'm fighting in 4 weeks. You know what I mean? This can't be my full-time job. I have to worry about beating John Lineker. Tim Kennedy's fighting this weekend. Cain Velasquez is on my card. Cowboy Cerrone's fighting this weekend. We all have big fights coming up, and it's kind of crazy that we're all stepping up right now, but what's going to change for us? What are they going to keep dodging me title fights? I mean, they have to fight me. It's in my contract that they have to fight me each year,
Yeah. So, well, that's why I have so much respect for you guys, because it's one thing to do it when you're on the way out, when you're on the outs with the UFC. It's another to do when you have a fight for the UFC in a week, in 3 weeks, when you're fighting in number one contender fights.
Guys, I have to talk to these guys, but I have to stand up for what I believe is right. Not only for myself, but for past fighters. And then this is going to help all the fighters now, and then it'll just pave the way for the future fighters. So I feel like it's a better image for myself to stand up for everyone else. Everyone else wants to think that you're selfish in this sport. But every team member I've ever trained with, I've become very close with. All my coaches I've become very close with. You have to be selfish in getting better, but you also, with how much we put into this sport and how much we train, how hard we train, there's so much appreciation for everyone. And, I'm hoping all the other fighters are going to appreciate this and jump on board, because it's a big step, man. This is a big thing for history of our sport and for MMA, and it could be huge. I mean, all these other fighters need to realize that, me, Cowboy, Cain, Tim, we're all active. You got George St. Pierre, one of the greatest fighters of all time, standing up. I mean, he's standing up. He doesn't need any extra money. The guy's making more money now than he ever did fighting, and it's not like he needs to start this association to make money. He needs to start this association because he believes it's right,
The one thing that I thought all 5 of you did very well in your own way was be sympathetic, honest, but not confrontational. You didn't take any unnecessary shots at the UFC. You didn't make it personal. You didn't try to hit them below the belt. You were laying out the facts. You were saying why you were, doing this, why you were a part of this, why you may be disappointed. But it didn't feel like you wanted to get into a fight because you recognize that you have to fight for the UFC. I do feel like Bjorn is being too confrontational. I feel like he's being too personal, and he did that on the show earlier today, and he did that on Wednesday. I feel like that's going to be a potential detriment. Can we reel him in? Can we make this less personal? Because I don't think it should be so personal.
It definitely shouldn't be, because this isn't personal. I mean, it's personal in the fact that I want to take care of myself.
Yeah,
my life.
I get that.
I don't want to be a fighter that's retired and has got nothing to show for it. But it doesn't need to be personal into like attacking someone. This is more business. This is business. I mean, it's straight up is business, and it's respect.
Yeah.
Well
said.
I think the UFC is the greatest organization in the world for this sport. They've done wonders for our sport. They've done wonders for me. I am where I am because of it, but they're also taking advantage of the situation. They're taking advantage of it being a new sport, just like any other sport did that's now mainstream and popular. Everyone got taken advantage of it until it got popular enough and everyone realized, like, damn, these guys are killing it, and I'm the one putting my life on the line,
Last quick thing for you, TJ, and tremendous stuff. Really appreciate the time.
Not a problem.
How do you feel about, your longtime friend and mentor and training partner, Uriah Faber, retiring in less than 2 weeks in Sacramento? I know things kind of went awry over the last year or so, but it used to be so close, and this appears to be the end. What are your emotions when you hear about this?
There's a lot. I got a lot of mixed emotions. It's super unfortunate the way this has all gone down, and I feel like really immature on his part. On the way that he's tried to bash me. I mean, I thought at first it was just for him to get a title shot, and I really hope one day that he'll be able to come to me and say that that's what he was doing. I mean, it's just kind of crazy how much time I put in at that gym and how much I helped him train and how much he helped me. I mean, he was making money off me, so, I mean, obviously he gives everyone a shot, and if you start doing good, then he's going to make money off you, so it's in his own best interest. But, I was a friend of the guy, I mean, I put in a lot of hours there at that gym, and I grew as a person there, and it's kind of crazy in how immature it was that he wanted to bash me and kick me out of the gym because I wanted to train with someone that he didn't get along with. You know what I mean? That's just it's so crazy, and it's such high school drama. But when it comes down to it, all done and said, we do have a past, we do have a history, and with him retiring, he's done wonders for the sport as well. I mean, you hope he goes out on a good note, even though the guy has really pissed me off, and I've had and still do have a lot of unpleasant hate for the guy. I mean, because for the way he acted, man. I mean, it's just so crazy to call yourself my friend and then not want the best thing for me. How can you be my friend and then bash me for wanting to do what I believe is best when it has nothing to do with you? It has nothing. I'm not trying to talk shit on you. I'm not trying to say anything bad about you. And I feel like in the media's eye, I was actually very respectful of the guy until he started making false accusations, trying to bash my name. It just kind of went too far. But sorry, I'm going off track. But all done and said, I don't wish anything bad on the guy. So hopefully he goes out and at least shows himself. I do believe it's time for him to retire. He's actually, I feel like, declined in his skills rather than getting better. And you need people around you telling you, like, all right, man, it's time. I mean, you've done a good job. It's time for you to hang it up. You know what I mean? Like, you got some fighters coming into the gym. There's some new guys that are kind of beating up on you. It's time to call it quits, So hopefully he comes out and looks good. He does it in Sacramento. He always is amped up when he fights there. He's by far a town favorite. He's a fan favorite. So hopefully he can make a good showing.
Well, holy smokes, if Dominic Cruz or anyone else doesn't think that TJ Dillashaw is being honest in his interviews, I present you the last 20 or so minutes. Incredible honesty there. I really appreciate your candor and just the authenticity behind all your responses. Really, really appreciate it. Tremendous stuff, TJ. I wish you the best of luck on December 30th. Kudos to what you and those 4 other fighters did on Wednesday. Good luck with that as well. We will certainly be watching it, and I wish you the very best as you prepare for a massive fight in less than 3 weeks' time. Good luck to you, my man, and thank you for the time today.
I really appreciate it, brother, and that's one thing I hold myself on is that I'm completely honest. So for all these guys that think I'm, selfish and holding out for myself, want to call me a snake, I'm as honest as it gets. I mean, I've never done an interview where I've lied. So
well done.
It's something I hold myself on, and I want to look back on this career and know that I've done the right thing. So I appreciate all that, and I will see you soon when I'm fighting in Vegas.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Thank you, TJ.
Awesome. Have a good one.